You are now listening to Redbeard Talks Redbirds, your home for all things Cardinals baseball. Hey, boys and girls, welcome to Redbeard Talks Redbirds. I am Alex Stovall. I am a big-time high-level fan and a crappy baseball player. This is my better half, Carolina. I have dragged her into this, and I think somewhat willingly.
I'm an okay. Wait, what did you say? I was going to make a joke. I was
Take
going to
it.
say I'm a really good baseball player and an okay fan. No, I'm just kidding.
We met back in college, and I took her to her first professional baseball game, I believe, or at least major league
No,
game.
no,
No?
no.
Okay, I'm a liar. I'm sorry. Anyway, she was a big baseball fan, but didn't really have a team that she rooted for. I provided that, so it worked out very well.
Yep.
Love it. Wait, hold on. Tell us about. I'm sorry. This is our first episode. This is an intro into us, into what we're doing and how we got here and what to expect on this podcast. And
Yeah, so why don't you just share like why you're starting Redbeard Talks Redbirds?
well, because I am a diehard Cardinal fan, first of all, you know this. They're basically a family member for me. A lot of people have an NFL
My
team.
face is nowhere on this wall and we're married. So,
Listen, Ozzie Smith is irreplaceable.
hey, we have a picture with me, you, and Ozzie Smith, and that is still not on the wall.
I don't know where that is. Do you?
Yeah.
Good.
Anyway, go
Okay, we'll
on.
find that. We'll put it up there. We'll take care of this. Um, so I'm a diehard Cardinal fan, big time, the same way that some folks have like an NFL team or maybe a college football team or something. That's me and the Cardinals. That's how I roll. This entire wall is all Cardinal stuff. There's a whole lot more that you can't see. Trust me. Um, my dad actually grew up in a small town in Illinois, not too far from St. Louis, and that'd be back in like the 60s where the Cardinals had a fantastic team year in, year out. Stan Musial, Bob Gibson, a lot of the big, fantastic Hall of Famers that everyone knows about. And I was born with a red hat on in Waco, Texas, and I've been a diehard Cardinal fan ever since. I've moved around the country, lived in Georgia for a few years, went to go see him play in Atlanta every year, lived in Texas for at least half my life, and got to go see him play in Houston. For you young folks, the Astros used to be in the National League, and they would play the Cardinals all the time. Um, and so yeah, big time Cardinal fan, and I do anything and everything Cardinal related that I can afford to do time and money wise, basically. One of my favorite stories is the first time I took her to a Cardinal game in Houston. She got to meet pretty much most of my dad's family, and she, I think, made a custom t-shirt.
No, I found one on eBay.
Okay, all right. Well, this was a great find. So tell me about the shirt.
So he had told me that, the whole family, he had told me the whole story. Like the whole family is obsessed and all these things. And I feel like you were like preparing me for what was to come
That's right.
because we were making this road trip, 3 hours to go see the Cardinals play the Astros. And I didn't have a Cardinal shirt or anything like that. So I started looking online for something I could buy because it's not like you could go to the store in San Marcos, Texas and go get a Cardinal t-shirt. So I found one on eBay that said, like on the front of it, it said, it was like, I heart the Cardinals. And the back of it said, because my boyfriend says so.
Perfect. Love it. It was a hit. She was in instantly. Didn't even have to pay a membership due or anything. It was
No,
awesome.
they took me in with open arms.
That worked out amazing. Um, well, so back to our podcast, kind of what we're planning to do here. I am going to be interviewing friends, family members. I'm going to be interviewing very passionate fans of the Cardinals, passionate fans of baseball. This is a place for people that used to be involved in baseball. This is a place for people who are still currently involved in baseball. We're going to start getting some of those guys to come in here and talk and give us some inside baseball, if you will. We're going to talk about all this stuff weekly, and it's going to be St. Louis Cardinals. This is going to be the Palm Beach Cardinals, spring training, baseball in general. Every week we're going to get on here and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on. We're going to share some stories and see what's going on throughout the season. What do you think?
So I would say, granted, the Cardinal fan base is like no other. I mean, of what I know of baseball, I would say the Cardinal fan base only compares to the Yankees, the Cubs, the Red
The
Sox.
Cubs.
Oh, but they do though. I mean, they love rooting.
No, you're right.
The Yankees, the Cubs, the Red Sox. And so one thing that's really interesting to me is that you know, we go to baseball games, and this is something that I still get surprised about. We go to baseball games, and then like Cardinal fans start talking, and they all know everything that's going on in the Cardinal organization, like about the players and the trades and just
Minor league
things
players
that
that are coming up.
I wouldn't even consider understanding or even realizing. Like everyone spends so much time researching or keeping up with what's happening with the Cardinals. And one thing that's interesting is that so we currently live in Jupiter, Florida. And if you are a Cardinal fan, you know that this is where spring training happens for the Grapefruit Leagues. So, or in Florida, but the Cardinals specifically are here in Jupiter, Florida.
Yep.
And we actually live 5 minutes from Roger Dean Stadium, where the Cardinals play their spring training games, and where the Palm Beach Cardinals, which is the Cardinals, which is it single A?
Single A
Single A team plays right here in Palm Beach County and in Jupiter, Florida. So it's super cool to be able to be so close. We could literally walk to the stadium every day if we wanted to. So that's one reason why we're really, or he's going to be talking not just about MLB, but also what's happening in the minor leagues, just because we have the Palm Beach Cardinals right here. And
Yep.
these guys eventually, hopefully for most of them, will end up somehow involved with the Cardinals, or if not, some other MLB team. So
Yep. We've also got a lot of current and previous MLB players, Cardinal players, and others that live in the Jupiter area.
yes.
So there's a lot of guys, a lot of people down here that have a lot of knowledge and experience and time in and around the game that happen to be right here in Jupiter. It's almost like a little St. Louis down here.
So weird. So if you've never been to Jupiter and you're a Cardinal fan, it really does feel like you're in like a little mini St. Louis. It's like somebody always knows somebody that plays for the Cardinals, is married to
Yep.
someone who plays for the Cardinals, used to play for the Cardinals. You sit next to them at the restaurant. You sit next, I mean, it's weird, but
True.
it's really cool. So I think that's why one reason why it kind of pushed Alex to start this podcast, because we're here, and this is the next best thing to being in St. Louis. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And kind of like we're talking about during the off season, you maybe even have potentially better access to facilities and players and to hear and see things going on. I've shaken John Mosliak's, or however you say his name. I've shaken his hand. I've met a couple other executives. I've met Ryan Ludwig, Bernard Gilkey.
Well, just the other day we were at a little festival that was happening.
We were right across the street from Roger Dean Stadium.
Yeah, and there was like
I
a
saw
little
Michael Walker.
Yeah, just a little festival, and Michael Walker was walking by.
Yep.
And
Larry Walker lives somewhere down here.
So pretty cool.
Absolutely. So we're going to do this podcast. We're going to do this weekly, and please follow along. It's going to be fun, and we're going to have some good, interesting guests and good stories, as well as updates as to all the happenings, the goings on, if you will.
So speaking of, what is goings on right now?
Oh, well, it's been an interesting off season. Everyone was kind of really hoping and pushing for the Cardinals to make some big moves, and they did some stuff. They did a couple of exciting things. But it also, at least for me, it feels like they're not doing enough, which I think most Cardinal fans probably feel that way most of the time. I actually really like how the front office approaches free agency and trades, in that They seem to go after high value people, players and such that don't necessarily cost a ton. They're not going at the top of the market where you're spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, but you also have very high risk with that. So they're
Yeah, so you don't
usually
have like this, diamond team, like these super duper all-stars that you're
right.
paying all this money for.
Right.
But
The
then you
Cardinals are not the
also,
Yankees. They're not going to go buy an all-star team.
yeah,
What they typically do is they will usually get one second tier star, and then they'll go after like the third tier guys. And they fill in, usually, they try to fill in with good quality role player people that they show up to work, they work hard, they play hard, they're good teammates, and those are fantastic people to have. But it does seem like you really kind of need at least one or two studs to make a difference sometimes. For years, like Matt Carpenter was the guy on the Cardinals, and we had really good teams, but we couldn't get over the hump. So I'm interested. I'm excited. I'm interested to see what's going to happen this year. I know we've got the talent. I know we've got the potential, but I also say that every year, and we seem to fall short every year for the past 12 or 13 years now. Um, Injuries happen, and people don't play up to their potential. That gets us every year.
Are you excited about the guys they've got coming spring training?
Of course I am. Absolutely. I do feel like we need more pitching. I mean, it's a theme every year for almost every team. We we traded away a lot of guys. We lost some guys in free agency. Jordan Hicks just signed a deal with the Giants, although we traded him away anyway. But there's guys that I wish we had. So I get emotionally attached to players. I almost feel like they're friends that I don't talk to very often. Um, but there's some guys that I wish would have hung around. I wish the Cardinals would have kept. But again, the Cardinals do a good job of making good business decisions when it comes to certain guys and certain dollars and trying to figure out who fits where. I do feel like a lot of times I wish they would take an extra step. Um, but anyway, so getting away from pitching, this is an interesting year for me. We've got like Tommy Edman. He is one of those guys. I love how hard he works, good team guy. He's going to show up every day and play his guts out. He's an interesting guy for me because, in my personal opinion, he is the best defensive second baseman we have. He's also the best defensive shortstop that we have. And he's also the best defensive center fielder, right fielder, left fielder. So, where do you put this guy? I actually really like him at second base. I think he complements whoever's playing shortstop. I think he anchors the infield really well. But the problem is he is the best defensive outfielder we have. Throw him in the outfield. We need it. We need the defense. We've got Jordan Walker in right field. This is going to be his second year. He had a pretty good year, pretty good rookie showcase. Strong arm. Oh my God. He is surprising with how strong his arm is. I'm excited to see what he does going forward. And Lars Nootbaar, I mean, you can't be upset with him. The Newt man, you can't be upset with him. The dude he's like Edman. He shows up, he plays. He's kind of, not a first tier star, but everyone knows his name. He works his butt off. He can hit, he can run, he can throw. He does all the things. He's a solid all around ball player. Love that guy.
Yeah.
A little sad Tyler O'Neill is gone. He's one of those guys that has a ton of talent, a ton of potential, and it doesn't seem like he can put it all together at the same time. I wish him well. I want him to do well. I think he will, but he's not going to do well with us, sadly.
Well, hopefully this year too, not only just going to spring training games, but we'll be able to see, being in the location that we're in now, we can go see spring training, but we can also see the Cardinals. It's a 2-hour drive to Miami and then like a 3-hour drive to Tampa.
Yep.
So that's something we got to do last year and got to see some
100%.
More games than a lot of people that don't live in St. Louis get to see.
Absolutely.
I'm interested to see how this season is gonna play out. And see what we see during spring training and see how it reflects. I mean, who even makes it?
That's right.
Really.
That's right. It's gonna be fun. We got some obviously we got some grizzled veterans. We've got Goldschmidt over at first, Texas State boy. Yes, sir.
Well, they don't understand the
We went to Texas State.
connection.
Goldschmidt went to Texas State. We actually saw him play while we were there.
So
Don't
that's
worry
kind of
about
cool.
it. We got Arenado over at third. Those are our two big studs. They're, constants. Really good defense from both of them. Really good offense from both of them. You can kind of count on them showing up and doing well. Hey, shortstop, Mason Wynn. He's a very talented, really young guy, and he's going to be exciting to watch. I think that his defense is really coming around, and his offense, I think, is kind of the thing that he is going to showcase a little bit more this year. I'm excited to see what happens there. One of my favorite players, kind of the unsung heroes on the team. You guys are going to learn this. I love these gritty,
He likes
hardworking
underdogs.
guys. I do.
Yeah,
I
he
root for
is
the
always
underdogs.
rooting for the underdog.
Brendan, second base. Love that guy. Love that guy. I'm excited to see what he does. And then we've also got we got Nolan Gorman, who is kind of a second baseman DH type of a guy. He's not your traditional second baseman. He actually came up in the minors playing third base, but we got some other guy named Nolan who's in third base and not going anywhere. So Nolan Gorman had to try to figure out somewhere else to go play. His defense is not nearly as good as Brendan's, but he's got a big left-handed swing. He can hit hard. He hits well. That's our DH, and he's shown he can do some things. I'm excited to see him take another step forward too. And then we got some nice bats coming off the bench. So again, same thing as every year. Tons of talent, tons of potential. Can it all happen together?
I guess we shall see.
But the big signing, haven't mentioned it, Sonny Gray.
Where's he from?
He grew up in Tennessee.
Okay, where
He played most recently in Minnesota.
Okay.
And he was the number 2 in votes for the Cy Young Award in the American League last year.
Oh,
So he's
a valuable player.
He's a good signing, big kind of stud number 1 coming in for us. And then, if we're going to dive back into pitching, then we've got Miles Mikolas.
Which is also a Jupiter local.
He is.
Yep.
He can be an absolute stud. He's kind of had some up and down years. I'm looking forward to him kind of bouncing back a little bit this year. I think a big hole, kind of similar to what we've had the past couple years, is Waino being gone. But we've got some guys that have been around. They know what they're doing. So I think we'll be okay. And the Cardinals do a really good job of bringing back some of their old players and keeping them involved with the Cardinals and the Cardinal tradition, the Cardinal way, and things of that sort.
So speaking of, what are we going to see Molina doing any type of coaching this year, or?
You know the answer to that already.
Well, I don't remember. That's why I'm asking.
I believe his official role is special assistant to the general manager.
Oh,
so
what
he
does that really mean?
That's the point, honestly, is so that it's not really defined.
Okay.
He is going to do some special coaching stuff on the side here and there. He's going to, stop by here for a little while, stop by here for a little while, but it's not like a 40-hour week job.
So to me, it sounds like it's a placeholder.
Somewhat.
Almost. Like
it's
he's here when he can. He's involved when he can, and then
hey, the dude's busy. He owns a basketball team in Puerto Rico. Okay, he's got stuff to do. I think he still has a clothing label too. I don't know. But yeah, he's going to be involved. And actually, what I've read is that he is going to be more involved in learning some of the front office stuff, what they do, how they do, why they do.
So like the business of the Cardinals?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. He's going to try to intentionally get more involved in that side of it.
Interesting.
But he will also do some, special coaching here and there a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be exciting to see, exciting to have him around. But yeah, looking forward to seeing some of the old studs come back, like your Alberts, your Yadi, your Waino, Ozzie, Willie McGee. Willie McGee's permanent fixture on the coaching staff, so that's exciting. I mentioned Ryan Ludwig earlier. He is a kind of a roaming coach for the Cardinals. Got to meet him last year. So, yeah.
Cool.
I think that's what we got going on. We're going to talk more about this. It's going to be a weekly deal. We're going to talk Cardinals. We're going to talk baseball and what's currently going on and what we hope will be going on.
So I will not be a permanent fixture here.
A recurring guest, if you will.
This me kind of just being here showing my face today was, just kind of an introduction. Here we are. This is who we are. I'm in support of him really doing this because I think he's going to love it. I think you guys are going to love it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's
And
going to be awesome.
one thing that we talked about is actually maybe recording some podcasts at spring training.
100%.
Like as we're sitting in the stands or something, like we're going to figure something out. Maybe doing some video that we add to the podcast on the YouTube channel. So
Yep.
you guys are gonna come along on this journey as we figure it out.
Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of that. One thing I'll do a little tease for you. We've got some friends that own the Hobby Card Shop in Jupiter, right down the street from
Right
the
in
stadium.
Abacoa.
Yep. And we're going to team up with them a little bit too. We'll do some shows there on location a little bit. He's a big Cardinal fan, so it works out really well.
Yep.
So it's going to be fun.
Some shows, we're going to be here in our home office. Some are going to be at the Hobby Card Shop in Abacoa, which is a 3-minute walk to the stadium.
That's right, if that.
And then some of it's going to be just here in the office on Zoom, talking to people all over the country.
That's right. So let's do it. Go Cardinals.